we always end our shows with a sales tip. We call it Ask Al, and where we take a question from a listener and answer the question here on the air. And if you have a question for me, Al Simon at Sandler Training, about sales or sales management is really what we're talking about there. If you have a question for the Ask Al segment, send me an email, al.simon@sandler.com. al.simon@sandler.com. Send me your question, and we just might put your question up here on the air. And so today's question that we're going to deal with comes from Russell. So Russell says, and I'm going to do some interpreting of the question here, okay? Because I'm not sure exactly what you mean, Russell, but you said, I would ask, how do I close more sales and get more new business? So it's a conjunction, right? Close more sales and get more new business. And I think that some people look at those as two different things, but I look at them as the same thing, personally. Because there are two ways to grow revenues in a business. One is to get new accounts. And we spend a lot of our efforts at Sandler Training and we're helping our clients get new accounts. But another one is to grow existing accounts, grow and keep existing accounts. And in fact, David Sandler, our founder, he said we should spend 80% of our time, so 4 of the 5 days every week, working on our current accounts, and only 1 day or 20% of our time getting new accounts. He also said that you take care of your customers, and they'll bring you your next one. So and that 80-20 thing, that may not fit your model for each of our listeners, but I think we can take a lesson from that. The lesson being lots of ways to grow revenue. But if you look at that 80% of that equation of helping your customers, really, really helping your customers, that means we have to ask more questions. We have to know what their problems are, not just in what they're currently buying from us or currently paying us to do, but also what else are they working on, and what else are they trying to solve, and what's in their way. And if we're asking those questions and we really understand our customers, which means don't do everything through email, by the way, really talk to people. And then we'll start to understand what they need, and it could be that we can solve those issues, or it could be we know third parties that we can introduce them to that can solve those issues. But if we're focused on helping our customers do better and thrive, then that will turn into business for us, whether it's more business with this current customer or whether it's an introduction or referral to somebody else, whatever it is. And speaking of referrals, introductions, and other ways to get new business, that should be a real emphasis for people, is asking for introductions to others. There's lots of reasons why people don't. Maybe they don't want to look desperate, or maybe they don't know how to ask, or maybe they don't want to look like they're always asking and taking. But if you're focused on them, and they know it, if you're focused on others, and if you're introducing them to others that can help them and being a connector, maybe even giving them referrals and introductions, then it's just a two-way conversation, and it works out better. And it's Emerson's law of compensation. Ralph Waldo Emerson, one of his essays, wrote about that. The idea of being a giver and a connector, and we, people label that as what goes around comes around, and it really is true. And then lastly, I would say always have a prospecting system that you're working. A lot of people who are in sales full time still don't do prospecting well. They do it haphazardly and when they have time. But we really should be focused on a prospecting system that we execute on a daily, weekly basis, where we block our calendars to do X amount of activities to get new business, and block our calendars to do X number of activities to keep and grow existing business, and we're consistent with honoring that calendar blocking. And so, Russell, I hope that answers your question, but that's what I would say. Best ways to close more sales and get new business. Bottom line, be focused on others, which goes along with what we heard today from Matthew and David Barranco. And that's today's segment of Ask Al and our sales tip. And so, once again, guys, thanks for being with us today. And for everybody else, good selling.